Good morning. We're just running a red light here. Good morning. Well, haven't been putting a lot of videos up. It's because I haven't been doing a lot of work. So, got a swearing on the radio this morning. So no work means no content. So this morning, what will I do? Well, I'm just going for a bit of a drive. I've got a bit of an idea brewing, and I'm just going to go and talk to some people about it and see what I can't make happen. I watched old guy in Canada, and French-Canadian bloke, Lucky Banana, does heavy haulage, and he's become an owner-driver. He obviously used to put lots of videos up doing heavy haulage and that with company trucks, and seems like a pretty good operator. And he's got his own truck now, and he sort of covers off, you know, is it worth being an owner driver? I just watched his video last night, and I thought it was quite interesting looking at his perspective on it, and is it worth it, and the reasons why he believes it is. So I might try and cover a bit of that off, and you know, I think I've got a bit of a different opinion to him, but similar but same but different, you might say. So yeah, I'll try and cover a bit of that off, but anyway, we're going to battle some traffic and get across town. Now, for those West Australian people, something that I learned pretty quick when I moved to WA from New Zealand is that WA stands for wait a while. So yesterday I talked to a few people about these ideas I've got to move things forward, and spoke to a guy about 9 o'clock in the morning, and he was coming to see me yesterday at the yard, and I waited there all day. Couldn't do much because it was pouring down. Waited there all day till about 5:30, and then I figured he wasn't actually coming, so he might turn up today, he might turn up tomorrow, but I'm not there. So yeah, the old West Australia, WA, stands for wait a while, and it's absolutely painful sometimes to try and get things done here in Western Australia. Anyway, it's just traffic is awful. I should have had you facing around there earlier because there's been some manoeuvres already. We've only driven for 5 minutes. Anyway, I'm going this way. I'm going up Leach Highway to get to Hazelmere rather than go Roe Highway and the freeway, and just, yeah, those roads are awful at this time of day, especially in the rain, so we'll just go this way. Righto. Well, I should have been filming that little drive across the city, across town, because my word, it's challenging on rainy days like this when people don't understand stopping distances for trucks and just general common courtesy. Right, so I'm nearly at my destination and it's raining. Now this place I'm going to, I'm going to bounce some ideas off them of what I want to do. They're going to tell me whether it's doable, whether it's not doable. I've got to find their driveway first. Vehicles. Where do we go here? So, just arriving here at Hallmore Trailers. Now, Hallmore, the WA company, and depending on how this meeting goes, I may never mention them again, or they might become my new best friend and I'll talk about them a lot. So, I've got some ideas. These guys are pretty good. I've spoken to a few people. These guys seem to be on the ball and could understand exactly where I was coming from. So yeah, let's go and see them. And it may be a short meeting, it may be a long meeting. We'll find out. Okay, so I had my conversation with the man at Hallmore Trailers. They're helpful. Not everybody sees the same thing I see. I'm looking at this sort of thing. You know, I'm sort of always been more of a can-do, sort of a get on and do it, and you know, some people get bogged down and we've never done that before category. And I tend to think, well, there's got to be a way. Anyway, how about this weather? Oh, crikey. So the truck was nice and clean. It's not anymore. I just can't get over how much rain we've had here. It's Jesus, I might as well move back to New Zealand if this is what it's going to be like. Oh, bloody hell, that was rough. So, was this a wasted trip? Don't know. It was a waste of time cleaning the truck before the trip, I can tell you that. Look at this. Crap all over the road. So is being an owner-driver worth it? Financially, no, not in the current market. Mentally, again, no, not in the current market. It's very stressful. Physically, again, no. I'll get onto that later when I talk about food and what I eat on the road and how I'm changing things there. So why am I doing it? Well, it was an opportunity that presented itself with me at the time. I was driving big shiny tow trucks, and a friend of mine found a friend of his had an 8-wheeler Kenworth for sale, and it was pretty cheap, and he talked me into it. It didn't take much because I'd always wanted to do it. Absolutely wanted to be my own boss, run my own truck, do all that sort of thing. So I bought this truck, and I had it for about a month, and the company I was working for, let's say we came to an agreement. We both agreed that I shouldn't work there anymore. So I found myself unemployed, very unexpectedly, and I had the truck sitting at home. This was on like the Tuesday. I rang the mate that I brought the truck through and said, "You wouldn't believe it, I've just become suddenly unemployed." And he rang another friend, and they rang me and said, "Oh, here, you've got a truck. I've got a trailer loaded, ready to go tomorrow." So I was basically unemployed for half a day. Hit the ground running. I'd already done tyres and things on the truck, and I'd been chipping away at it and put the hydraulics on and all that sort of thing myself. In the front, what didn't even have a front yard at that stage. It was all on the side of the road. And yeah, I got it up and running, and yeah, sort of, it's been challenging. It's been really, really challenging. It's got to be tough for people entering the market that rely on people to do everything. You know, like I fitted my own turntable and everything. I drilled all the holes in the fish plate, mounted the turntable, plumbed everything up, mounted the hydraulics, you know, the pump onto the gearbox, all that sort of thing. Did all that myself, If I was paying somebody to do that, couldn't have done it. Yeah, so people that go into it thinking they're going to make $1 million without having some sort of mechanical knowledge and know-how, it would be very challenging. I mean, it's been very challenging for me. Granted, I've made some bad choices, like selling that first truck and buying the K200. Definitely the worst choice I've ever done. I saw that truck the other day and I, wanted to buy it back. The old 8-wheeler was a good truck. I'd done 2 million Ks at that stage. It's probably done 2.5 or more by now. Yeah, so there's just so much to take into it if you're thinking about being an owner driver. Work is pretty bad at the moment. Finding work, good steady work, good, and people that pay. That's a huge part of it. If you've got a set contract, this is just my way of looking at it. Okay, so feel free to comment and tell me what your thoughts are. But if you're taking on a job that's a set contract and you do the same thing day in, day out, whether you're loading on docks and going from A to B, and that's all you do, personally, I wouldn't do it as an owner driver. It's a whole lot of headache running that truck. You'd honestly be better off on wages. At the end of the day, you turn the key, step out of the truck, job's done. Whereas owner driver, even if you're doing that set run, you've still got all your invoicing, you got your truck maintenance. Here with the accreditation, everything's got to be kept up to date, and I do that constantly. If I walk past the truck and look at something, adjust something, touch something, it gets written down in my maintenance records. So it's all there when you get stopped, like I've been stopped twice this year. You hand that folder over and it's all there, and you've really got to do all those things. You take responsibility for washing, and me, I used to love washing. I love to finish the day and then polish the truck and make sure it was absolutely spick and span for the next day. But now there's so many other things to do. Like I'm doing all my own tyres. I've generally done my own servicing with most of the trucks I've driven. Oil changing and that. But here I'm doing as much as I possibly can. Like I say, including tyres and that. So it's not only changing the tyres, it's finding the tyres. You've got to shop around, get the best price, then you go and pick them up, you fit them on, then you've got your old tyres, they've got to be disposed of. Same with oil. I've got a 1,000 litre IBC in the yard that I have to get emptied, and that costs money and time. You've got to arrange all those things. There's regos and insurance and permits for everything. My insurance, I've shopped around. I've got a pretty good deal. I've got a good relationship with my insurance broker. She's from South Otago like me, so she's pretty good to deal with. But still, I'm paying over $30,000 a year. Okay, so over $30,000 there. Regos, I've got the trailer, I've got the truck, I've got the Hilux. In the business, those regos add up. Fuel. I've got a fuel card for one brand. It's got a very low limit on it, which is really restricting. So I get a good price, but I max it out. I need it to be 10 times that limit to be able to fill the truck when I'm going. So I'm generally paying for all my fuel up front. I don't have a fuel bill coming that's huge. It's only basically one fill. And if I'm working, I can be fueling up every day. I could be looking at $7,000-8,000 a week in fuel, and that's running one truck. So you pay all that fuel up front, you pay all your regos, you pay your insurance, your accreditation, your permits, you'll pay it all out like me, I've just done a job over east. It was in the tens of thousands. Haven't been paid for, they guaranteed payment within 2 weeks. Haven't been paid, and it's a month and a half now. So I'm carrying all that expense, all that trip across there, the fuel, everything. I'm carrying it, haven't been paid. You've got to have the ability to carry that debt. You know, you've got to be able to carry that. And as much as you go, well, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to be a bank for these big companies. Well, that's how it goes. I know there's some companies here that pay 90 days, so you're carrying all that cost for 90 days before they pay. So that sounds like a lot of negatives, and it is. Right, so what are the pros then? That's all the negatives, the cost, the stress. You know, I'm constantly looking for jobs, and at the moment it's dead. I'm going to load this afternoon, but it has been really, really quiet. Okay, I started to talk about pros, and I got straight back into the cons again, to the negatives. The pros. Well, I am my own boss. You know, yesterday was Tuesday, rainy day. There wasn't much happening. I was waiting for a man to come and talk to me about some of the ideas I had. And so I was at the yard, but if I wasn't waiting on him, I wouldn't have been there, you know. Whereas other companies, there's no work, you've still got to go in for 8 hours a day and stand around, you know, whatever. And yeah, you don't have to do every job. I tend to try and take on most of the jobs. You know, you've still got to keep in mind that it is a business and you need to make money. On wages, if there's no work, you're still going to get paid. You know, your employer is still going to pay you. Whereas when you're self-employed, if there's no work, there's no pay. Even sometimes when there is work, there's no pay. The money's sporadic, so you know you'll have a good month or a good few weeks, and you'll make huge money. You can, you know, live comfortably, and then you'll have a lean period like I'm in now, where you know you've got to account for, and you've got to be very, very mindful of every cent. It's old mate's in the centre island there. Can't park there, mate. I want to have a look at that. Oh, I'd say you got a bit of a fright and put her in the ditch. Better than hitting somebody though. Yeah, so there is definitely positives to the job. Right, so I'm still working on the pros for being an owner driver. I'm actually struggling because things are so grim at the moment. It's pretty hard to see why you bother, but I think one of them is I own the truck, I own the dolly, I own the trailer, the Hilux, the block. I've got a container. That's mine. You know, that's a big thing. Seeing as I've been in and around trucks, machinery, transport, earth moving my whole life, like right from day one. And yeah, so for me to own my own gear is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. A lot of stress comes with it, but deal with it. You know, I had a big conversation with a mate here the other day, and he was pretty much spot on. He sort of said, look, you've given it a crack, it's not working, just because the way the industry is, you know, with the foreign drivers, the Chinese made trailers, and the general state of the industry is really bad. Like my trailer, you could buy a brand new Chinese one for less than what I paid for this one 15-year-old trailer. But it's nowhere near the quality. So that side of it, owning your own gear, that's a big plus for me. I can do what I want with this truck. You know, I can when the budget allows, like the sun visor and the bug deflector and things like that. Yep, I wanted to do it. I did it. That's a big thing for me. So I left here the other day and I was like, you know what, old mate's right. It's not working, but I'm more stubborn than that. You know, it didn't take much to spin me around the other way and go, like hell, I'm giving up. You know, I can make this work. I've just got to put in a bit more effort, which it's been a lot of effort so far. But, you know, I'll make it work. I'm not going to give up yet. Like, that's why my little trip up the road this morning to visit a trailer manufacturer and repairer to bounce some ideas off them. Hopefully they're going to get back to me with some ideas, and we'll just keep pushing forward. Right, food. Someone asked about food. So I'm about to head away for 3-4 days, maybe, could be longer. And today's Wednesday. Right, this here is basically, apart from water, is what I'm taking. So $100. And I was in and out of the supermarket in about 5 minutes. $100.56. Now, that includes a shower when you're stranded, wooden cutlery, because I'm not doing dishes unless I have to. These pre-made meals are brilliant. So I've got a few different varieties here. They're good for a few days. So 29th of August, and today is the 20th. So I've got 9 days to eat them. So I've got 4 of them. So that's my evening dinner. Goes in the fridge. Now for lunch, because I've stopped carrying food. I used to have bread in here and everything. I actually had a problem with ants. So I've gone to these. Now these, depending on which one you get, I've got, you know, bolognese, pesto, pasta. It's anywhere from 200 to 400 calories, because I've got also, there's fried rice, and I've got another rice one here. Brown rice, quinoa, all chicken. You can get them in tuna, but I don't do tuna. So I've got half a dozen of them. So normally that's enough for me lunch. Now, shakes. I've gone to shakes for breakfast. 1, it's easy. 2, it's actually cheap. So there's 14 in here, and that was $30. That's not the usual brand I get. There's normally another brand that I get that they didn't have any. So I'm hoping these still taste all right. Yeah, it's a bit unknown, but buying these variety packs, like I say, there's 14 different sachets in there, 6 different flavors. All I do, it says to add them, you can add them with milk or water. Those ones say milk, but I ain't going to. Is I buy me water in these bottles, so I'll just drink a bit out in the morning, you know, pour it in the jug to make a coffee or whatever, pour the sachet into it, shake it, drink it, bottle goes in the bin. No dishes there again. Normally they're 200 calories a meal, so they're meal replacements, but normally 200 calories is a thing. I haven't read it because there's a lot of writing there. Per serve, 203 calories. There you go. So have them in the morning. Have a rice or a pasta, or if I'm parked up, I'll heat up one of the meals, and that's it for the day. So $100, and I've got 4 days worth of food. Plus I got the wet wipes and the cutlery, which will last longer than the 4 days. If I was to go to a roadhouse, now I support roadhouses where I can, because we need them there, especially if they provide showers and facilities for truck drivers. You've got to get behind them, because that's a big service, and cleaning up after truck drivers, I mean, what a mission. So support them where I can, but I put on a lot of weight living on roadhouse food, and that's not bagging their food, that's bagging my choices, you know. Yeah, you always go for the thing that looks good, and you know it's unhealthy, but I'll just have it this once. But if you're doing that 3 times a day, if you're going in the morning and getting a sandwich, You know, a toasty sandwich and a big coffee, you're walking out of there $15, $15 to $20 lighter. Same at lunchtime, a couple of sandwiches or a pie or whatever, drink, whew, it adds up. And then dinner time, you know, you go and get a meal, sit down, have a meal, which I'm still going to do occasionally because, you, like I say, you've got to support them, and it's just that food's great, but only so much of it. But so it's easy to spend $60, $70 a day. $100 there will last me 4 days. The last trip I went over east, done the gearbox. I spent $130 on food before I left. I went to Subway twice, got a couple of wraps while I was away, and I topped up. I bought a couple more microwave dinners. So all up the whole trip for food for 12 days was well under $200. Whereas if you're in the Roadhouse, you know, 3 days and you've done your $200. And I'm losing weight, which is good. I need to get my fitness back. So yeah, so that's what I eat on the road. I've got the fridge there, the 40 litre, so all those meals go in the fridge, apart from these ones here. These here in the cupboard on the shelf, and they last a very long time. I can't see the date without ripping that open, but they're sort of 3 or 4 weeks they're good for. So if I don't eat in this trip, they'll be in the cupboard for next time. Right, that's what I eat.